Melina, can you get me a pen over there?
Jen, I'm going to give you the heads up. You're going to record. Record. When you hit it, just record.
Okay.
All right, Jen, ready? I'm going to, okay? Go ahead, hit it. All right, Jen, ready to go.
Okay, we're going to call the PERA meeting to order for February 17th, 2017. Chairwoman Ray.
Present.
Vice Chairwoman Dorita.
Yeah.
Mr. Cohen. Mr. Cohen is absent. Mr. Fontaine.
Present.
Mr. Rankin.
Here.
Ms. Swearingen. Ms. Swearingen is absent. You have 4 present and 2 absent. You have a quorum.
Okay, Jen, read the first item on the agenda.
Welcome, Ms. Kimberly D, back on the board.
Which, I mean, you can have discussion, but she's not a voting member, so I don't, you know, if you guys would like to speak, that's fine, but.
Well, I will just repeat again. I will have this discussion with President Sabina Matos and Mary Kay Harris tomorrow, Ms. Dye, to make sure this is corrected. Because my understanding that you would be current and present on this meeting today. So I apologize. I was told one thing, it's another, but please be patient. We will get on top of that. Thank you. Thank you for coming. And welcome back. Okay.
Yes, welcome back.
Thank you. And actually, my last name is pronounced D, like the letter.
Okay, thank you. Jen, item
Okay.
number 2.
Discussion regarding members' terms.
Okay, I brought that up. I had discussed with several other board members in conversation, because we can't talk as a whole, so we won't be in violation of the open meetings law. But I needed to know exactly when everyone's terms is. I also needed to know exactly how long I'll be the president of this current PERA board. Susan was very nice to forward me some information in regards to what she had received. I believe you said from Tina, Susan. If I'm stating it incorrectly, please correct me. So I did review that and look at that. And I also brought it up to,
Did everybody get that, the terms that I sent through
I'm
the
sorry.
email?
Yeah, we got a new one today.
Okay, just checking.
okay, no, I did not get the new one today.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I got that
not
either.
yet. Okay, so I'm not gonna say I did, no. I will check, and thank you for sending it today.
Okay.
But I have been on several other meetings, so I hadn't had the chance, and I'm popping from one to the other, so I apologize. But again, if I have any questions, I will call and have that discussion. Anybody else have anything to say on that matter? Mr. Rankin?
Ms. Ray?
I'm good, Madam Chairperson.
Yes.
Ms. Ray, when you send that around,
call
if you
my
wouldn't mind sending it, to me too, that'd be great.
Jillian, I'll send you a copy of it.
Okay, thank you, Sherry.
You're welcome.
Okay, there you go. All right, Sherry, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Fontaine, you have anything to say?
I don't believe I
Miss-
received the copy either. I was just scanning my email.
I sent him off earlier today to everybody.
Yeah, was it, trying to see the time on it.
Did you get it, Sue?
Yes, I
Hold
did.
on.
It was at 1:01 p.m. if that's makes it
Yes.
easier in trying to find it.
Yeah, I sent it to everybody, the whole committee.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. Again, I repeat, thank you. I will look, when this meeting is over, I will look at it and verify that, and then I'll look into that. So thank you very much for doing that, Tina. I appreciate it. Yes, Susan, I see your hand raised.
I'm just looking at the email, and
Susan,
you have the wrong address for Mr. Rankin. So that might have been a issue. And I don't see Mr. Fontaine on here, so.
Okay. The one that I just sent, it just has their names and their expiration dates is the one that I sent. Did I send
Right,
it wrong?
but
When you emailed them, you didn't,
no, the email itself.
the email itself, wherever you emailed.
Oh, okay, the wrong email. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
all right, thank you very much.
Are we ready
So
for
we
item
will hold that discussion to the next, I'm sorry, we will hold that to the next item. Go ahead, Ms. Jennifer.
Yes, discussion and possible vote regarding the current and future para budget.
I also brought this up, or thought about how we need to discuss this, because I personally do not know what the current budget is or what's left of the current budget. And I'm not sure of who I get it from now, because I've been getting the runaround. So if someone else could like fill me in on what else should I do? I mean, I have spoken to Ms. Harris. I have spoken to PJ Fox. I have spoken to Sean B. I can't pronounce his last name. And I still haven't gotten any response back. So, you know, board members, we all sent out a letter on January 21st, which was basically January 22nd. Sue certified it and sent it out, letting the current president of the city council know what issues that we had, as well as other things, and I still hadn't got a response. So I'm at the so point, but because I'm having a meeting tomorrow at 12 o'clock with the current president of the city council and Miss Mary Kay Harris, that too subject will come up. Does that sound okay? Or any recommendations
Sounds
that y'all
good.
may offer, please too, tell me. Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Mr. Rankin, is there anything else?
No, I think that we just need to address what you
No.
were discussing. I think we also need to figure out what's going on as far as, I thought that there was a discussion and a vote about an audit so that we could have an accurate accounting of what was spent and what was left over.
That conversation, you are correct, sir, and that conversation will also happen tomorrow with the city council president, because again, I had not received any feedback whatsoever as the president. Now, Ms. Sue DeRita, you are the vice president. Have you received any?
No, Madam Chair.
Hello, Sue.
No, Madam Chair, I haven't.
Okay. All right. So that's the best I can do at this time. So if nobody has any objections, that will be my follow through. Miss Jillian, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. What I just said, does it sound feasible? Am I stepping out of the open thing law or whatever?
No,
Legal-
nope, you're not,
legally?
you are right on track.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay,
welcome.
thank you. Miss Jillian, next item.
Discussion and possible vote regarding the executive director hiring committee.
Okay. I have asked several members of the board, would they like to be on this hiring committee? I have gotten several responses. So I just wanted to make it clear and on record who is willing to sit on this hiring committee? Sue had brought it to my attention. It can be no more than how many, Sue?
I believe 3. Is that correct, Jillian?
Yeah, well, as of
No.
this moment, yes, but it will depend on the amount of members that you have on the board. So, I know that, you know, technically right now there's 6 members seated, 3 members that are vacant. So the quorum as of this night, is 4. So you cannot have a quorum or higher. So as of right now, you can have 3 members on a hiring committee.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And I would
Um,
recommend that you keep it to 3 because you don't know when the rest of the members are going to be sworn in or approved by council or anything like that. So it's safe to keep it at 3.
Okay. In saying that, Miss Jillian, thank you very much for that. In saying that, off the top of my head, and let me just go this way. I know for a fact that Mr. Rankin is interested in being on the hiring committee. Is that correct?
Yes, Madam Chairwoman, that's correct.
Okay. All right. Mr. Fontaine, Mike,
Yes,
I'm
yes.
not, okay, yeah, okay, thank you, because I wasn't sure and I didn't want to hop. So far, we have 2. So I'm allowed to get one more person? Jillian? Miss Jillian,
Yes, yeah, yep, you can have one more person.
okay.
I think Elise said.
I
she
know
was-
for a fact, I had asked Miss Kim, hold up, before we even go there with Elise. I know for a fact that Miss Kim died. When I asked her, she was more than glad to say yeah. But because of the situation that it is now, Miss Kim, I apologize. Okay. So I know that Miss Elise expressed that she's interested in an email to me tonight about she's interested in being on that hiring committee as well. Now, does that also include the president or that leaves out the president? That's my question. Jillian?
I'm not sure I understand the question. So it can be 3 members total. So there can be three PERA
So
board
does that-
members on a hiring committee. Whether or not, Ms. Ray, you want to be
Correct.
one of those 3 people, you would
Okay.
have to be included in the 3.
Uh-huh. Okay. Well, in saying that, I'm going to submit my own name. So as it stands as of this day, it will be Deborah L. Ray, Mr. Mike Fontaine, Mr. Matisse Rankin. Does anybody have any objections or questions to that? I hear silence. Okay,
No
smile,
objection.
everybody. Okay, thank you. All right, do I have to make a motion, Jillian? No?
Yeah, there
Do we
can be a
need-
motion to,
Need a motion?
you could have a motion to create an executive director hiring committee made up of Ms. Ray, Mr. Rankin, and Mr. Fontaine.
Okay. Could someone make that motion,
Yes,
please?
motion to create an executive director hire committee with board members Mike Fontaine, Machiste Rankin, and Ms. Chairwoman Deborah Ray.
Seconded.
Okay, that motion was made by Mike Fontaine and it was second by Matisse Rankin. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, Ms. Jen?
Yes, update regarding status of
Jennifer?
executive director applications.
Okay, I lost you. I lost your video. Please repeat.
I'm sorry. Update regarding status of executive director applications.
Okay. At this particular point in time, I'm going to turn that over to our Vice President, Susan, and she can give you an update and let us know what's going on. Susan, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So far, we have received 5 applications. NACOL was good enough to put it on their website, even though we didn't make promise that we'd be able to pay it, not knowing what our budget was. So at least the posting has had a further reach than just what the city is doing. But as of now, we've only received 5.
Anybody got any questions? Okay, I got a question. Where are those applications going to? Susan?
So as far as I know, is that somebody applies through the website and then we are getting them emailed to you and I from the HR office. And that's all the information I have.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I just have a
Any
quick question for the vice chair. How long is the posting open for?
I believe, I think I saw it was the first week of March.
Okay, okay. All right, I just didn't know. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Now that we have this committee, who would like to be the chair of this committee? Oh, help me, Jesus. Hello, hi. I got real quiet. Okay.
I mean,
out of the three of
can.
us,
I mean, there's only 3 of us. I just worry about my schedule during the day if there's any other administrative things. But I clearly we can just chit chat about it once I find out more of what we need to do. You know, but
Okay.
I mean, if it was feasible, I could do it. I just don't know if it's feasible. You know, given what my
All
other
right.
commitments, etc.
All right. So we'll look into that. Mr. Rankin, how do you feel?
My schedule is prohibitive as well, so I wouldn't be able to take on that challenge.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you very, very much, gentlemen, and we will further have this discussion. Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome. If there's
Ms. Wright,
any
can I
more
just jump in really quick
questions,
before you move on?
oh, that's Jillian. Yes, Jillian.
So I just want to remind the 3 of you that any discussions that the 3 of you have outside of an open meeting about the executive director hiring process, it has to stay between the 3 of you. You cannot talk to any 4th member of the board about any of that hiring process unless you do it in an open meeting. Okay, I just want to make that reminder to you 3.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, thank you, Jillian. Any other questions? Kim, you can talk, I think. I mean, you know, you can be in part of this discussion, I think, can't she? Yeah.
Okay.
How do you feel about what's
Yes,
going on? I don't want to leave you out. I
she
know
just
you.
can't vote.
Yeah.
I think you kind of just answered my
Okay,
question
thank
though, by asking where they're being sent. So I'm under the impression that none of the applications have been talked about so far during any of the meetings.
That is
No.
not
No.
true. I'm going to say it's not true because let me just say it this way. The applications have been sent to Susan and I. Susan was kind enough to scan the application so I can see them. Okay, my technology here, computer, whatever, I'm not technology skilled as of yet, okay? The person from HR who is sending them, I will make sure that she put my name and not just say me. Because if you look at the emails, it says Susan's name and it says me. So I'm gonna change that me so she can directly communicate to me and send it in a fashion that I can see these applications, or we all can see these applications. You understand what I'm saying? Because as it is right now, that's not what's happening. So what Jillian just said, I can't, Jillian just said that we can't talk to a fourth member. That prohibits me to talk to my vice chair, who has been helping me to make sure that I get and receive the applications. Am I stating this correctly, Susan? Because you could correct me at any time.
Yes, you are.
Well, so
They're coming through as a zip document. So what I will do with HR, I will tell them not to send them to me, to send it directly to Deb.
Well, but I think
Right.
just for
Not
clarification,
zip.
and yeah, Jillian's on the line, but I think she's saying we can't, like, any discussion regarding the hiring process.
Right.
I think if you're doing an administrative thing, Susan, where you're receiving some resumes and forwarding them on, that's kind of not the same thing. I think it's a matter of discussing and talking about this at the candidates, and I think she means that as long as that is given the current constitution of the board, it can only be the members who are on the committee. But the administrative stuff of, providing it to the chairwoman and stuff, that's not what she's talking about.
Right, there's no discussion. I just scan them and email them to Deb.
Okay.
correct. So that's fine. As long as
Okay.
Deb and
Well, I
Susan are
just
not
want to make it-
discussing them. Yeah,
Okay,
Correct. We have not, but I do want y'all all to know how it's happening right now. That process. That's why I said it. So we can be clear. Thank you, Mike, for clearing that up as well. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Susan, thank you.
you're welcome.
Kim, did I answer your question?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Is there any other questions? Any other discussions? Not hearing any at this time. Ms. Jennifer, I think we can move on to the next item.
Okay, discussion and possible vote regarding status of request directed to Eugene Montero for case information.
Okay, Jennifer, you're breaking up to me a little bit, but
Sorry.
I think if you don't mind, can you just repeat it? I apologize because I can barely hear you. Did everybody else hear her? Oh, sorry.
Everybody else heard me?
It just might be my computer.
Okay. Discussion and
Did
possible.
everybody else hear her?
yes,
Okay, I can read it again.
Okay.
Discussion and possible vote regarding status of request directed to Eugene Montero for case information.
Okay. Again, I'm going to turn that over to Ms. Sue DeRito. Ms. Susan?
Sure. So as you all might recall, back in December, we did take a vote to request information on all reports that may have come about from any investigative case files or anything. This particular one to Mr. Montero, an email and 2 letters were sent to one to each of the addresses that we had on file on January 21st by certified mail, asking for that information. One of those certified receipts was sent back addressee unknown. And then our chairwoman did receive the other receipt back signed for. And we have not received any of the case information to date.
Does any board members have any questions on that? Any concerns? Okay, not hearing anything. next steps? Maybe Jillian, you can help, or Mike, you can help. What shall
Well,
we
you
do
know-
since we're not getting any response? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Chair. This is Mike Fontaine. I just think personally, the spirit of getting this
Mhm.
information was to assist anyone who might have had their applications sort of in limbo, their complaint to PERA in limbo, since we don't have access to that information since they retained it. But, realistically, if anyone's listening clearly to these meetings, they should just resend their complaint or get in touch with PERA again. I think that at this point, we need to probably focus our energies into getting PERA, get it running. Get the executive director, get a new investigator, and really put our efforts into helping, the people of Providence and the community from this point forward. I think that, maybe we'll put it on the back burner, but I don't think we should focus in our time on trying to chase them down when we could focus it on things that are going on right now. Again, if anybody from the public, is sitting here listening to this meeting and saying, well, what happened to my complaint, then they should just get back in touch with PERA and we can go from there. But I just think we sent out enough letters to people. People aren't responding. We just have to move forward, in my opinion.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Mr. Rankin, how do you feel?
I agree with Mr. Fontaine. I think it's a waste of time to keep chasing after people. If they're not going to be forthcoming with the information, we should just move forward and take care of the business that's going to be that's coming up, and just let it, I wouldn't say let it go, but recognize that it's clear that there's an avoidance of turning that information over. So why keep chasing?
Okay. Ms. Dye, how do you feel on what you just heard?
It's D.
Yeah, Ms. Deb is D.
I'm sorry, D. I don't know why I want to call you Dye, and I'm looking at the D like, I apologize.
It's
Miss
okay.
D.
I think before I pass any judgment, what has the flow of communication? I know I haven't, my last meeting I believe was in December. So I don't know what the communication has looked like from then. Can anyone just tell me what the flow of communication has looked like since then with Mr. Montero?
Would you like me to answer that, Madam Chairwoman?
Yes, please, sir.
So we had our meeting in December where we did request this information, and there was no action taken by our former chair at the time. So once Ms. Ray became chair, that was one of her first acts, was to follow up on a vote and carry through on that, the vote that was taken to try to obtain the information.
And
If that
nothing
answers your question.
came out of it? There was no response?
No.
Oh. Wow.
So you also know, Ms. Dye, in that January meeting, Susan was nice enough to put out her email out there, some kind of email so people can get in contact, because we didn't have a phone connection or anything, because all that was turned over to HR and we still don't have that. So Sue is the only one that can answer you on that if we received anything. To my knowledge, we have, am I saying it correctly, Ms. Sue?
You're correct. Haven't received any communication whatsoever.
Okay. And I'm talking about the public and complaints to our office. That's what I'm referring to.
Right, we haven't
Okay.
seen any complaints since the end of August.
Oh,
So is there any other questions?
no.
Any other concerns? Okay, thank you so very much, Ms. D. I got it right. All right, Ms. Jennifer, please
Yes.
continue.
Discussion and possible vote regarding status of request directed to Sheila Hubbard for case information.
If I could jump in there, Madam Chair, this really falls into the same situation of the situation with Mr. Montero. My understanding again is that we sent out 2 certified letters regarding this information that may or may not be with this individual. We received no response. Again, it's the same spirit of just, we want to make sure we're thorough and not leaving anyone out or forgetting about anybody. But again, like Ms. Machiste said, not that we're letting it go, but I think we really need to just start facing forward and looking to what we have to do and not keep chasing people for stuff if they don't want to provide it to us. I don't know what the situation is, but I'm not saying that it's intentional, but we've sent out letters, we've sent out certified stuff. We haven't gotten any responses. We just need to move forward.
Thank you. Ms. Sue, I saw you raise your hand.
Yeah.
Mr. Rita?
I just think it's important that the public knows that we have taken all steps that we possibly could to obtain the information. So, like Mr. Fontaine said, we haven't forgotten about them. And again, I will give my email address. It's susand7338@cox.net. If anybody, wants to reach out that way so that we can, speak to them and hopefully, pass on whatever information we're able to.
All right. Everybody, how do you feel about that, Miss D?
I'm fine with it.
I'm sorry, say it again.
I'm okay with it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Rankin, you have anything to add, or you in agreement?
I'm in agreement.
Okay, thank you very much. Ms. Jennifer, can we move on to the next item on the agenda?
Update regarding communications with police department regarding information sharing.
Okay. I received the email from, I believe it's Captain Henry. I cannot pronounce his last name. If someone can help me with that, it's fine. But anyway, thank you. He was saying, he quoted and said he sent a quarterly report to the board. And he also sent a quarterly report to the president of City Hall, Madam Sabina Matos. And in that quarterly report, Susan had brought some issues up to me that I have questions on, and maybe she can explain exactly what she was referring to back then. Susan?
Yes. So the quarterly report that we received was missing some attachments. So we did ask them to reissue the reports and did send them to us. There were 2 quarterly reports that they were holding on to because of the changes in leadership. But there is also an additional report that is referred to in the ordinance that we're looking to obtain, and that is an audit and a report that the police department must do, which is providing the names and individuals who are included on the what's referred to as the gang list. And that's supposed to be an annual report that we've requested that they produce for the year 2020. And part of that is that there be an independent audit selected by us and some others look at that. So that is something that we have requested. Again, it's in the ordinance. I believe it's section like 14. So that's something that we're waiting for, that we can share the results in the future. But the 2 date.
Anybody have any questions?
I was going to say the quarterly reports that we received are usually also published on the police department's website in their community policing tab, I think.
Does anybody have any other questions for Susan or comments? Okay, hearing none. Hearing none. Madam Jennifer, will you please go to the next item?
Yes. Item number 9 is update regarding meeting with city and state officials with respect to complaint and investigation procedures.
So the board knows that we was invited by, if I'm wrong, correct me, Councilwoman Mary Kay Harris to sit with other folks from the city and the Attorney General's office and the City Council's office. So I invited Matisse Rankin and Susan to also be a part of that conversation. So I'm going to turn that over to Matisse and let him give you the feedback on what we received. Is that okay?
Would you like me to start, Madam Chair?
Yes, sir.
All right. Both the chairwoman and the vice chairwoman and myself attended a meeting, conference, teleconference with Councilwoman Mary Kay Harris, Chief Hugh Clemens, Attorney General Peter Nerona, PJ,
Fox.
thank you, PJ Fox, and there was
Fox.
another gentleman as well. And there was also Annie Horian from the Attorney General's office as well. And the discussion was primarily about information sharing and also covering some past events that we're all aware of and trying to streamline a process to where the Providence Police Department would ensure a timely turnover of information to the PERA Commission. And it was understood that if we were receiving complaints, we would have to turn to the Providence Police Department to get the files that we needed to further investigate that process or to further investigate the incident itself. Where the Attorney General was speaking to, or what he was speaking to, was there not being an overlap, as it was erroneously reported that PERA had the authority to involve itself in criminal investigations because PERA didn't have anyone who could do a criminal investigation, and so there wouldn't be any overlap. So Chief Clemens committed to that information sharing, and Attorney General Nerona also committed to trying to be as helpful as possible. And I think that we all came away from the conversation with the mentality of we'll trust, but we'll verify, that the proof is in the pudding and in the eating. So we can say a lot of nice things in private meetings, but when we have a situation where we need to get that information, we will know if we have to go back to filing a subpoena or if it will just be turned over. So I think that as we stand right now, the police have stated that they are committed to ensuring that we get the information that we request from them in a timely manner, and we get the full access to the information that we need to do our job.
Thank
That's
you. Anybody have any questions? Kim, Ms. D, you have any questions? Oh, I can barely hear you.
I think my only question would be, coming out of that meeting, was there any conversation as to what policies or procedures we would follow if one half of the agreement wasn't met? Or will we just fall back to filing subpoenas?
I think that the only thing that we would have to do would be to file a subpoena and to engage the city council, because at the end of the day, this was legislation that was passed by the council. It's supposed to be codified in the PCPRA or CSA, whichever you choose to call it. And there has been, or there have been verbal commitments, and it's codified in the law that the information is supposed to be turned over to us. So we can't execute on our mandate if we're not given the information. And it's supposed to be a bi-directional process where we give them the information that we need and they give us the information that we need. So, I mean, I would think that at a certain point, if that information is being withheld, then we would have to speak to the council, we would have to speak to the mayor, and we would have to find out why that's not taking place. Since everyone's saying they want to do it, then we should be able to get those, we should be able to get the things that we need.
Anyone else have any other questions? Okay. Before you go on, Jennifer, I just want to reiterate the item before that, when I was talking about Officer Captain Henry. In his email, he said that he would be the contact person. And he would like to know who on the board would like to be the one who contact him. So I would like the board to think about who would like to be that designated person that when we decide to get or need information in regards to whatever it may be, he could be one of those contact person directly to the Providence Police Department, because he claims he has all that information that Sue had spoken about earlier in regards to passing on information, keeping documents and recommendations on who did what, and what, underneath the Confidentiality Act, not saying names, but keeping a record, because that's what they do. Am I saying that correctly, Sue?
Yes, you are. And I just thought of one more thing to add that we did have a discussion with them about. And that was a disciplinary matrix. We had discussed some of the discipline that was given to officers in both the Hanley case and the Jamal Gonzalez case. And there, a lot of different departments have a very explicit disciplinary matrix where it says, okay, if you do X, Y happens. And ours is not as is not as spelled out. So that was something that we had discussed, that we would seek the assistance of NACOL, and I did post that on their message board, and did receive a lot of different suggestions from a lot of the members on what they're using. So that's a different conversation that we'll continue to have with the police department.
Anybody have any questions? When you said they, who were the they, Susan, that you're referring to, that you had this conversation with?
So attending that meeting was the commissioner, Colonel, yourself, Mr. Rankin, and myself.
Okay. Mr. Mike Fontaine, you have any questions for me? I'm sorry.
I was gonna say that was on
Go
January
ahead,
15th.
Sue, I'm apologizing.
That was on January 15th.
Okay, thank you.
And
I'm
Madam
sorry.
Chair, I have no
Mr. Mike.
questions. Yes, hi. I have no questions. I mean, basically, we just have to, get going on the process. And like Board Member Rankin said, if they don't comply, we subpoena. And we just got to make sure, as what was not occurring, we just subpoena quickly. I don't believe personally in the going back and forth and back and forth. We make a request. If it's not honored, you may give them a phone call, but then if you're waiting any longer than you need to, you subpoena, and just get things moving, So I'm fine from what I heard. I think we're looking at the police contract. I think that provision is in there too about their cooperation, which is a big victory for us. So, let's just hope, like I said, we'll be optimistic. We'll trust but verify, but we'll get our information this time around.
Thank you. Ms. D, you have anything to add?
No.
Okay, thank you. Susan and Matisse Rankin, thank you very much for both that information. Thank you very much. Miss Jennifer?
Yes.
Would you please go to the next item?
Item number 10, update regarding public hearing to amend bylaws.
Okay. Okay. I'm having video trouble hearing you, Ms. Jennifer, but if
I'm sorry.
everybody else heard her.
Did everybody else hear me?
No,
Agenda
it's
item-
not your fault.
Yeah, we're on
Okay, go ahead.
item number 10, update regarding public hearing
Right.
to amend the bylaws.
Okay. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that Susan and Miss Elise and Jillian all looked at the bylaws. Am I not correct in saying that?
Right, they were also sent to the board.
Yeah, the board has
Okay.
already approved the bylaws to be submitted to a public hearing. So the next step is just scheduling that public hearing.
So I guess my question then becomes, who schedules that public hearing? Jillian?
So it has to be scheduled with the clerk's office, but before you can schedule it, it has to be, you have to run an advertisement in the Providence Journal, and you have to give at least 30 days notice. So I had sent around copies of I think I had maybe just sent it to Susan and you, Miss Ray, the version of the advertisement that Jose Batista had used the first time that we did this, just for you guys to kind of edit it to match this, like whatever this hearing is going to be. But you need to schedule, it needs to be 30 days out from when it gets posted in the paper. You have to give at least 30 days notice.
Jillian, it has to appear 10 days before the public hearing.
The PERA ordinance specifically says 30 days.
Okay, I spoke with Tina, she said 10 days, but if it's 30 days, I will let her know.
Susan, I see your hand raised. Please speak.
Last time, I believe it was
Vice
$850 to put that advertisement in. It's a large block ad. So again, until we know what our finances are, it might be something that we might just want to hold off until you have that conversation to find a balanced budget.
Okay. All right. Well, I will also add that in tomorrow in our conversation as well. I believe that's all very important. Does anybody disagree with what I'm saying now? Okay, hearing no response, everybody agrees. So that's the best I can do at this particular point in time. I think we have continued to move forward. We want the public to know we are here. We're not shut down. We're not trying to be shut down, and we're going to continue to work for the people. And this is by the people, because we are people. We are the people. So we are here to help in any way that we can in that capacity. Right now, I think everything leads on my conversation tomorrow with Mary Kay and the council president. And as soon as I hear anything or whatever the response is, I will, how do I do this? Jillian, how do I let each and every board member knows exactly what was been said to me in that conversation? Is it that one-on-one thing? I'm not violated if I do it on the one-on-one.
Can you explain it again? Under what? So what conversation?
Okay. I'm having a meeting tomorrow with the president of the city council, and Mary Kay Harris, to try to move forward. Okay.
There are a couple of things that you can do. You can wait until the next meeting and give a
Please.
report about it. I don't think that you want to wait that long.
Mhm.
So your other option,
No, I really,
you could draft an email and send it to the whole
Mhm.
board. The way that you need to do that, though, is that you need to BCC everybody so that you cannot reply all. So you are free
Okay.
to let the board know the notes of the minutes or the meeting that you had, but the board cannot engage in a conversation about your email. So there can be no
Okay.
replying to your email. Your email can be a one-way
Okay.
ticket. That's it.
all right. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, how does that sound to you? Because that may be an option that I do.
Mhm.
It sound feasible? Is that okay?
Yes,
Ms.
makes sense.
D?
Yeah.
Okay, I see you. Okay. Okay, thank you, because I just, I just got, I just thought about, I didn't want to violate the, so thank you, Jillian, for that information. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Madam Jennifer? Okay,
Yes.
Madam
So the
Jennifer?
last item
is
is
there
number
anything else
11,
on the agenda?
and it's discussion and possible vote regarding review of police union contract.
Mm. Well, I'm going to say this. For those of y'all who have listened to what took place with the city council in regards of the contract, you primarily an idea, so I'm going to open it up. Would anybody like to speak on what they heard or how they feel about what was said in regards to that contract? So, Mike, I'll go to you, Mr. Fontaine.
Well, I reviewed the contract, Madam Chair. I'm not sure what was said in any meeting. I just was trying
Okay.
to, like I said, I just was looking at that for the information regarding their working with PERA. In terms of the other provisions of the contract, I really don't have any comment on that. I think that down the road, it might become more apparent regarding maybe training and police tactics. I don't know if that would be included in there or not. I need to learn a little bit more, but that would just be my concerns as it relates to the board down the road.
Okay, thank you. Miss D, how do you feel? I see you, Susan. Miss D.
Sorry, I'm chewing on an apple.
I know, so sorry.
I'm so sorry.
Okay. We're all human, darling. We people. That's okay. Please go ahead.
I took a quick look over it. I don't have any immediate questions. I think I have to read it over again to get more of a gist. But at the moment, I don't have anything to say.
All right, thank you. Mr. Rankin.
I think, again, what we're looking at is what Susan was remarking about earlier, is that disciplinary matrix and some sort of a conclusion. I mean, some sort of an inclusion of something like that in the contract.
Okay. Thank you. And Miss Susan, last but not least.
So I believe it's been referred to Finance Committee, and maybe somebody can tell us what the process is, if they know when it's going to be on the agenda for the Finance Committee. We believe that there's no a hearing piece, or there's some kind of a public comment that can take place. But I did a look over it myself. Actually, I was surprised to see that it's basically, talk about, employment and pay, and no other provisions. And looking at a couple of other police contracts that have recently updated. I spoke to somebody in Seattle, Washington today, and also to somebody at Spokane. Nicole, again, is a great resource. So a lot of the contracts that are being negotiated right now do include something about oversight and cooperation when it comes to mediation and different disciplinary actions. So that might be something that, we want to take a look at and make as a recommendation.
All right. So, in saying that, does anybody else, any other comments? Concerns? Okay, hearing none. Ms. Jennifer, I think that we have went through the whole agenda. Am I correct?
You are correct, we did.
Okay. So since there's no other comments, I'm going to be nice enough to see if there's anybody from the public. I'm sorry, Miss Jillian, you have something to say? I saw your light came on.
No, I'm all set. Sorry, that was an
Miss
accident.
Jillian? Okay. What I'm going to say now is anybody to the clerk staff, Miss Angie, anybody in the public that want to say something to us, I'll give them that opportunity. Hi.
And do we have anyone that wants to speak?
There's 2 people.
2 people?
Yeah, we have 2 people, Ms. Ray.
Okay, well, can we please have the opportunity for them to speak?
First one is Richard.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Richard. Can you state your name?
Richard Garganta. I just had a quick question. I tuned in late, unfortunately. I've heard the term disciplinary matrix a couple of times. Could somebody please define that so that I, know what that is?
Ms. Sue, would you like to handle that question?
So a disciplinary matrix different in different municipalities. There's several examples out there, and it's very detailed, and as basically if this is what the offense that you commit, then this is the discipline that will take place. So that way it is the discipline is consistent through all different types of cases, and our disciplinary policy really is I don't want to say it's vague, but it's open to some interpretation, and looking at other districts, municipalities, it's set up very differently. It's just something for us to take a look at. Does that answer?
Did you get your question answered, Mr. Richard?
Yes, I didn't realize I was still on audio. Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Next person, please.
Next one is going to be Lisa. Lisa, can
Hi,
you
my
hear?
name is,
Hi.
yes, can you hear me?
Yes, can you state your name for the record, please?
Sure, my name is Lisa Niebels. I just came from a meeting with the mayor about this police contract. And a lot of the people were asking for provisions to be put in regards to things like making sure that the patrolmen always had their cameras on and different little things like that. And I agree that there needs to be a discipline matrix. That would be beautiful, Ms. Dorita. I like that. One of the ways that he pushed back on that was he said that when you put in those kinds of issues in the contract, it leaves it open to negotiation in the future. And those are policy and procedure items, not really appropriate for a contract. So I just want you to be prepared for that argument when you push for those kinds of things to be included in the contract. But his main concern was that this would help balance the city budget because it changes the percentage of money that the police are going to be putting into their pension program. And the pension is seriously underfunded at this point. And this would up their contribution to that considerably. And that's where that is. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, since that's it, we have heard from the public. They have also listened to us, the ones who have, and I thank you. Mr. Rankin, you have a question. I see your hand.
I didn't have a question as much as a statement, Madam Chair, to address what Ms. Nables just spoke to. It's already in the policies and procedures for the police to have their cameras on during any enforcement activities. The issue is that when officers do not have their cameras on, the policy is not being enforced. So it doesn't really matter how many different modes or methods are put into place to keep speaking about it. It's similar to the notion that a duty to intervene will change everything. Minneapolis has had a duty to intervene on the books since 2016, and George Floyd died in 2020, I believe, last year.
Yeah.
So the notion that all these things are going to change these things, it's about the enforcement of the policies that are already in place. So, you know, the officers are supposed to have their cameras on, they're not having them on, and they're being told, okay, next time. And that's what has to stop happening.
Ms. Lisa, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Did you hear what Mr. Rankin had to say?
I did, and I appreciate what he's saying, and I think Mr. Rita's matrix would solve some of that problems because they're just getting a slap on the wrist. They're not being, it's not being enforced.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for your information and thank you for listening. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is now 7:04. It has been a long day for most of us. So
Ms.
may
Ray?
I have, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's right. Mr. Richard, could you have the, can you spell your last name for us, please, for the record?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, my last name, Garganta, Garganta.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Is there anything else from the clerk's department?
That is it.
Okay. Excuse me?
Motion to adjourn?
There you go.
Second.
May I have a motion made by Rankin to adjourn, seconded by
Fontaine.
Mr. Fontaine. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Good night, ladies and